Good morning, I'm Sheriff Manuel Gonzalez III. We're hosting this press conference in reference to a SWAT call-out and an apprehension, and also the involvement of one of our canines being injured in a stabbing. So last night on September 1st at about 9:30 at 1737 Potomac Southwest, our deputies were dispatched to a barricaded subject. When they arrived, the person they identified as being in the home was Jebrene Garcia, about 40 years of age. This is a photo of Jabrene and some of her mugshots. When Jabrene and her nephew arrived at the residence belonged to her sister's ex-boyfriend. Her and her nephew forcibly removed an air conditioner from the front window. Then she went inside the home, armed herself with a knife, and hid. A fight ensued between Jabrene and some of the occupants of the residence, and the residents of the trailer were able to escape safely. Throughout the evening, she became very agitated and non-compliant with the deputies' request to exit the home, and SWAT and our crisis negotiation team were activated. Once they arrived on scene, she continued to resist law enforcement commands to leave the home, and she became continually aggressive towards the deputies. As the evening went on, eventually our deputies, our SWAT officers and our K-9 officers were on scene. One of our handlers deployed one of their K-9s into the residence. The K-9's name is Nordy. The spelling of that is N-O-R-D-Y. Nordy entered the home. A few minutes later, the dog retreated from the home with a knife protruding from its back area. Dog was injured and stabbed. The dog was actually transported to the veterinarian and was treated. At about 8 o'clock a.m. this morning, Garcia finally exited the home and was arrested. I'm going to read you some of the charges from the incident last night. Also, just to inform you, Nordy is in stable condition at this time. Jebrene Garcia will be charged with aggravated residential burglary, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, battery, resisting, evading, and obstructing an officer, injury to a police dog, and aggravated assault on a peace officer. I also want to mention that a formal press release with more information will be sent later today. Do you have any questions? Oh yes, and this is also a photo of the dog. I believe the dog's a new K9. I think you guys have information on that, right?
Yeah, he just started about 6 months ago.
6 months ago.
And does Garcia have any previous run-ins with the law?
Yes, Garcia has an extensive criminal history. We'll provide that in the press release later.
And was there anyone held hostage, or anyone, any paramedics or anything, during the SWAT situation held hostage?
No, those people were able to exit the resident at some point, and she stood and barricaded herself.
You said Jabrene broke in with her nephew as well. Were you guys able to see him at all, or was he away from the scene when you guys arrived?
I believe he exited with the residents because she was the only one in there when the SWAT team arrived, and the crisis negotiation team was negotiating with her.
Is the nephew being charged with breaking and entering or anything?
I don't know at this time, but I would suspect that he would be.
And do we know the age of that nephew?
Not at this time. I don't have the age. All that information will be released later.
What kind of protocols or next steps do you guys have for enforcement?
So the K9 was under the veterinarian's care. I talked to the K9 handler a little bit earlier. He's in good spirits. He's very optimistic about the condition of the dog at this point, and I believe in anywhere from about 10 days to 2 weeks, the dog will be back on the streets. And we also want to probably host, we'll probably host a press conference when the dog's feeling better.
What kind of, is it a Belgian Malinois or a German Shepherd?
I'll let
So
the
he's a
K9.
Belgian Malinois.
And cool. And then was he wearing a vest?
No, we don't typically wear vests on the canines. Typically they get hung up on different items in the house and it gives the suspect something to hold on to. So we typically don't use them for that reason.
Was Garcia armed with anything else or just that knife? And what kind of knife was it?
I don't know exactly. I did ask the K9 handler. He said he thought the knife was about 8 inches in length. I don't know if that's the blade or the overall length of the knife. We'll try to get you a photo of that later.
Did state police help assist in this?
I don't believe on this specific call.
You said Garcia left around 8 a.m. this morning. What's so long between 9:30 and 8 a.m. the whole night that
Her unwillingness to come out. So she actually exited a little after 8 a.m. and it was just her unwillingness to come out of the residence.
I'm sorry, can you mention again what time did the calls come in?
It started last evening on September 1st at about 9:30 in the evening. Okay. All right, any other questions? Well, I'd like to thank you for coming out, and once we have that other press conference with the K9, we'll make sure you get invited. Thank you for coming out.